Welcome back. I'm Michael Storm, the anarchist of comic books and co-owner of Amazing Fantasies comic book shop here in Topeka, Kansas. I'm back with another new comic book review, but before we get into that, do me a huge favor, take just 2 seconds to click that like button. It's the biggest thing you can do to support us, other than, of course, visiting the store, so you can support us from a distance and show that you appreciate this kind of content on the internet. And let's get into it. This was a fun one. So I'm even doing this one on a second print because this one is gone. It's become so big, and I just found it interesting after I finally got around to reading it. It goes into second print this week. Is Ted okay? I don't know. You're going to have to get the book and find out, but I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on with Ted. First, Ted and his little world that he's in is created by Dave Chisholm. It's on Mad Cave. It's a dystopian future, no doubt about it. It is the definition of dystopian future, and then I'll explain some of those things along the way as we go here. Ted works for Ayn-Styne, which is an obvious reference to Ayn Rand, and you know this because most people think that Ayn's name is Ayn. It's not. It's Ayn, and it's spelled A-Y-N, and this company, Ayn-Styne, is spelled A-Y-N-S-T-Y-N-E. So it's Ayn-Styne. It is a reference to the great writer and philosopher and interesting reading if you ever get into it. So that's that. I mean, that really kind of tells you, right? That gives you an indication of what we're looking at here. It speaks to a lot of people anyway. But this obvious reference to Ayn Rand, this Stein company, it's the world's largest corporation, and it's Ted's job to create propaganda posters. And I don't know if propaganda is the right word. They're promotional, but isn't that the same thing? Aren't we talking about the same thing? Or are we just splitting hairs there when we're talking about promotion and propaganda when we're talking about a fascist state? Truly, really, right? He blocks out the world with headphones. He just is repeatedly listening to the same song, in fact. Not just the same music, but the same song over and over again. And it's likely that on any given day, the only person he's going to speak to isn't a person, it's a stray cat named Johnny. To someone who was observing Ted, it might seem like, he's about to spiral. He's going to crash out, which means something entirely different to me and everyone else in the world until about 2 weeks ago, when it started meaning somebody losing their nut and going crazy on people. Going postal is what we used to call it, I guess. I guess that's offensive now to postal workers. So now it's called crashing out when it, to me and everybody else in the world until, like I said, about 2 minutes ago, it used to mean just going to sleep. You crash out. I'm going to crash out over here on this couch, man. You don't mind, do you? That sort of thing. But now it has a different meaning. It means somebody going crazy, losing it on everybody. And it does. It does appear that way because they are watching him. They're watching everybody. This is a dystopian future, and I mean ridiculous dystopian future. Aside from what I first noticed as maybe potential a new propulsion system, I don't know if that'll be a thing that they'll follow in the story, or if it's just an artistic expression, just the artist's way of drawing things. But that may be something. But along with that idea that I noticed at the same time, because there was one of these sort of, I guess it's like a drone. It's probably like a neighborhood watch drone or something like that. And that is going around trying to protect the neighborhood. But I noticed it sort of zipping by Ted's apartment as Ted's about to go in. And Ted's apartment, the entrance to the apartment building is surrounded by cameras. There's just ridiculous numbers of cameras everywhere. Everybody's watching. Everybody is being watched. But I guess in Ted's case, maybe it's time to call the Karma office, not to be confused with Radiohead's Karma Police, but they had apparently a similar function. Karma, it stands for keeping all regulations with maximum authority. Is that Orwellian, right? That if that's not Orwellian, then I don't know what Orwellian is. It's Sarah's job. She's the one that's watching Ted, and she thinks she can help Ted. She works for Ayn-Styne's business Big Brother team. That's literally Orwellian. But Karma really isn't interested. In fact, the company doesn't really care about people that are about to crash out, particularly if it's self-destructive. If they think that there's a reason to believe that they're going to harm others, harm the company, somebody within the company, then it would become an issue. But they don't necessarily care if they're going to harm themselves. And Sarah, she just doesn't really hold with that. She's had an experience before with somebody that Ted reminds her of, that maybe she couldn't help, and failed to help this person, and she thinks she can help Ted, and so that's going to put her on a collision course with Ted, and of course others, many others, decompartmentalized within the company. So there you go. There's your dystopian future world set. Is Ted okay? It's in your LCS this week, and if you're ever in Topeka, Kansas, stop by and see us sometime.